how students perceive a second language. And I think we have an obligation to change things, as instructors. I think we have an obligation to try to help others who need the language,
Mhm.
because the world is changing every second, every minute.
Okay, may I break into your
Sure.
okay. You just said that the world is changing, everything changing, and my
Yeah.
question to you is why ain't the teaching system in Mexico changing? Not even a little. Why do we keep teaching English the same very way, the very same obsolete way?
Because it's a lot of factors. It's ego, it's selfishness from the system, and a lack of passion from the system itself. And it it connects with it affects instructors in many ways.
Probably you heard this before. Hey, um, you spoken to teachers. You even written a book regarding the teaching thing,
Yeah.
and there are some hints on the book. Actually, there are some hints in it which I like a lot.
Yeah.
So my question is, well, not question. It's a statement actually. So
Hmm.
have you ever heard when you question a teacher, hey, why do you keep teaching that very same way? And the teacher says, hey, I gotta stick to the plan.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, let's put ourselves in the shoes of any instructor for a minute.
We've been down the road, haven't we?
Yes, we have absolutely, been in those shoes,
Yes.
because you have an intention, which is teaching. You want to share your knowledge, you want to transmit that to your student, and you become part of this complete structure and system. And as you mentioned, you have to stick to a plan, you have to stick to guidelines and regulations, and sometimes pressure,
Yeah.
because you have to transmit all that knowledge into students.
Yeah.
So sometimes we become, um, we fall short in so many aspects, and it's not enough. So looking back in my days, in the system, big groups from 30 to 40 students,
Oh my.
guidelines and programs and books specify that you have to follow these topics. But again, that's completely detached, in my opinion, that's completely separated, detached from reality.
Yeah.
Reality is much worse.
Absolutely much worse. Yes.
So let's play a little bit and imagine a student who graduated, I don't know, university, college, you name it, and they go out and try to look for a job. And during the interview, they say, bueno, ¿qué te parece si vamos a cambiar de español a inglés para evaluar tu nivel? So they start asking these questions to the student who's trying to get a job, and you find that it's not enough. Not enough for reality, not enough for the working environment,
Feel.
for the field, for the industry that you're
Mhm.
attempting to be part of. And there's a big disappointment from students. They say, you know what? All the years that I studied, that I bought these books and these exercises and these system that I got, is not helping me. So I feel disappointed with the system.
Yes, yes. We can ask. We got Mr. Luis here. You can ask Arturo. You can ask Carla. Let's see what Carla says regarding
Mr.
learning.
Lewis,
This is Mr. Luis, the president of
Yeah,
Fitson. Yes.
how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really
welcome.
well. Man, we just started.
The reunion of Legends.
Oh yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Carla, what's it been like? She's been learning English ever since she was in infant skill in the UK, kindergarten in USA. Carla, what's it been like
Right.
the process to you learning English with books?
Well, in my opinion, it could be a little boring.
Yeah, number
Um,
one.
there is nothing dynamic to do. Only maybe read and see grammar and grammar and grammar
And fill in
every
the
day.
blanks.
Filling the blanks, correct?
And and in my case, I think that is boring, the learning by grammar and books readings, and not this, and just a specific readings, not like uh, a normal reading of of like a book, for example. There are readings that try to try to introduce you in the grammar of the book.
But they don't. But they want to introduce you to the real world, to the real deal, to the real thing. Let's see. Let's see what our friend. Thank you, Carla. Arturo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a big issue in the public schools. I think because I studied at public schools. So, for example, you have the topic of the English in your career, in your program, but you just practice 30 minutes, 1 hour, and the rest of the classes all is in Spanish. So, and no one of the teachers speaks English, only the English teacher, and sometimes even the English teacher is not good enough. For example, in public schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the problems. Another problem I think is the education from the parents. Yeah, because for example, if you don't have the interest, or if your father, your mother doesn't introduce you to the English world, or in your home, for example. For example, I know people that speak in English with the children, even if with 2 years old children, for example. Yeah, they speak English at home, and that's really good. For example,
Okay,
so
that's
I
good.
think it's like a chain of issues. For example, if the parents don't speak English, the sons maybe yeah, neither. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Exactly.
that's a problem.
So how about our friend Louis? How about our friend Louis? One of the most famous guitarists in town. Mr. Louis, I think your microphone is off.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
muted.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. We can hear
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah. It's curious because I've seen works when they are requesting teachers that it's a must nowadays. It's a must to know English. I've seen job jobs vacant that are requesting teachers that teaches the classes in English, but I see that this is hard because the skill system is the English skills system is really hard to be in a for example in a biology class in English, for example, if they don't know if they only know the basics.
Mm-hmm.
So
But not the
we-
terminology, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a different story. That's true. How about our friend Christian? So, yeah,
Yeah,
Christian,
yeah. Can you repeat me the question?
yeah, we're
I
talking
was
about
lost for a minute.
no problem.
The sound was not good for me.
Yeah, no problem. We're talking about teaching English with books and giving
Okay.
tons and tons of list of verbs and teaching the verb to be over and over and over and over
And filling the blanks.
and fill in the blanks. Don't forget page 23, please.
Just copy and do something, just like the normal teachers. I think that even they are afraid to practice the English, and I think is the better way to learn is getting to the directly practice.
Who are the ones
So in
afraid
that,
of practicing their English? The students or the teachers?
as the students, as the teachers, more than a half, I think, because they even they aren't feel comfortable speaking with natives, or because the same people that not speak the language, they afraid to make mistakes, to be not understood, you know.
To not be understood. Yeah, to not be understood. Okay. Charlie, why do you think people feel afraid of making mistakes, as Christian just pointed out?
Well, sometimes it's really hard in different social environments where a second language is not even considered like an option, like a practical or functional thing to add. So I can relate. I can relate to that completely. Uh, I remember even my cousins, they used to make fun of me because I was playing in front of the television watching MTV, listening to the songs, and they started playing games like Washua Washua. That's how I started. But I had a very big desire to get this new language, to express myself in this new uh, way of communication. So I remember my cousins making fun of me, but my desire was bigger than their mocking at me. So I kept pushing. So it's really hard, and I understand those students when they begin, or even teachers, because they're afraid of being pointed out, of being embarrassed, or being called out just because they make mistakes. But just like any other context in life, if you don't make mistakes, you're not doing anything. It's it's mandatory. It's vital if that you make mistakes.
That's
I
right.
tell my students to this day, hey, this is my number one recommendation to you. And they say, why? What is it? Make mistakes throughout the whole program.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I'm serious about it. And they say like really? Absolutely. Feel free to make mistakes. Feel free to twist the words, to make predictions on the sounds, on the new vocabulary that you see. And you encourage that. As an instructor, if you encourage that, if you feel in the student's shoes, you're gonna make it happen. And
Yeah,
you're not just passing something. You're working and building something called confidence
confidence.
in your student.
Hmm.
And that's a win-win. Sometimes, when I said ego in the teachers, in the instructor, that ego is represented by, oh, I am so good at this language, and you're not even there, you're not in that level, so you're not that important. And that hurts. That
That
hurts a
has.
student. That
Hmm.
hurts a process. And you want to see that person succeed.
Yeah.
How? By working on your craft, be confident in the capacity of your student,
Hmm.
and working on a day-to-day basis in that particular idea, which is make mistakes. Come on, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna laugh.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, Mr. Omar.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. That.
Yeah.
So how about our friend Carla? When she first started learning the language, because as I mentioned a little while ago, she's been studying English ever since she was at infant skill or kindergarten. Infant skill or kindergarten, Mr. Charlie. Is it infant skill?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Okay, kindergarten. Carla, what was it like when you first had this exposure to the language?
My first exposure to language? I
Yes.
don't remember it.
Okay,
I
now
don't
let's
remember
okay.
it.
Let's talk about how you feel when you speak English these days.
Um, I think currently I feel better than 1 year ago, for example.
Hmm.
But is because I'm speaking a lot on English now.
Mhm.
But before that, I was really scared about uh, talking on English.
What's that
So
thing? What's that thing that used to make you feel nervous or scared or afraid of speaking? The mistakes.
yes,
Okay.
the
Feel.
mistakes, and that people maybe uh, maybe doesn't understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
That two reasons in special.
Cara, what do you see in English teachers these days? And be really honest. Except me, please. No, it's all right. You can go against me as well. Fire, fire, shoot. I'm ready.
I think that
I go first.
they're only following a program.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't want to show the English or teach the English on that way, but they have to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlie, how do we set an impact on a student? How can we reach that point?
From from the most essential principle, the most essential principle, and that is the minute the student is walking inside that classroom,
Uh-huh.
he has a goal. And I'm not talking about the other subjects. I'm talking about English in particular. We, especially those who live in border towns that have a connection with the United States, which is our neighbor, and if we don't see that there's a necessity, there's something important right there for the student, and that's going to have an impact in his or her future. If we don't do it with honesty, with with a with honesty, and because the student needs to be successful, be competitive when he goes out there to use the language. If we don't start in from there, well, it's going to be it's going to be a big feeling of guilt in our on our shoulders, because we want the person to be successful. And when Carla mentioned that on the teachers, they have to follow that program.
Mhm.
It is complicated because if they don't meet those expectations, if they don't follow those rules,
You can't get out.
they're
Yeah.
going to be affected on their paycheck. They're going
Mhm.
to be uh, they're going to be marked
Told.
as, yes, they're going to be stigmatized as, hey,
Mhm.
you're not following the rules, we don't want you here anymore. And the person is trying to perform an activity, to do a job.
Yeah.
But as you know me on this, you know how I feel about this. If you don't have a passion for this activity, and you don't have the intention to help that person, to replicate yourself in that person, you're not going to make it. Students are very smart. They know your intention when they see you, when they hear you.
Can
uh,
smell
mr
it.
lewis Mr. Lewis mentioned that earlier, and that's
Is,
very important.
is that true, Mr. Luis?
Yeah, 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 that's true.
For
Actually,
example, Mr. Arturo, Mr. Hexen, Carla, you know, guys, that when you enter a classroom and you see this teacher pretending to know everything, know it all, but he gives you a book and he says, complete page 11 to page 35. Really? Are you guys believing in this instructor?
Not the first.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, right? You're going to say, is this guy for real? Or is he just wants the paycheck, right?
Yeah,
So you have,
especially.
and then this is something that I noticed too. Some instructors, they don't they don't really like the profession, so they
Yeah.
use this accent, this funny accent. And students, especially the ones in the border towns, they say he doesn't sound like my friend Tomas in Arizona. That guy sounds like a gringo, like a real gringo, but he speaks funny. Like, and students, they lose credibility on you. And
Yeah, that's true.
that's something that are great teachers at the same time, who really put their hearts on the line.
Yeah,
But
but
but it's hard to find them. It's hard to keep them.
yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the typical scenario where you need to study the first 10 verbs to the next class, yeah, to be asked about and memorizing. Yeah, it's
Oh my
kind
god.
of the kind of exercises in English classes. In my case, for example, until after university, I really I studied honestly I studied English at university only for the requirement or get the
Degree.
yeah
Qualified.
to graduate,
Mhm.
but I didn't realize at all the impact of that language. Maybe I don't know. I was concentrated in other things and other topics and my career, programming, etc.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's what I think that's what of the reasons the interest that you can see of from teachers, for example, or the teacher needs to motivate you
Of
to improve
course.
your English, to see the consequences of not studying English, for example.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think also it depends of the person. For example, in my case, because there are another students that they really study seriously English and now are really well in that language. So it
Exactly.
depends. But yeah, it's true. The teachers.
Yeah, it's a,
Well, yeah, you need the programs of the system is yeah really strict
Limited.
and all the books yeah you need to pay for the books. It's the
And you
one
need to
thing
pay for
you
the
need to
books.
pay 1,000 pesos
Oh my
at
god, yeah.
each semester for the books. So,
are you
yeah,
serious? 1,000 pesos, really?
yeah, it's really expensive. The books, the English books.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a student coming into the teacher's room, and she was crying because she couldn't afford the books, and she was taking two or three buses to get to school. We're talking university. And she enters the room, and she's sobbing and she's crying, and she says, "Teacher, they want to kill me. The teacher wants to kill me. Why? Because she's been asking me for the book for weeks, but it's very expensive. I pay my bosses, my transportation, or I pay the book." you know?
All right. It's
And
Yeah.
that's, in my opinion, that's a limiting concept. You're
mhm.
limiting the student. You kill the desire of the student to learn this tool. And I mean, I suffer when I see that, because that's not the way. When I was a student, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. That was not the way. And I was very lucky to be in a public school in a different country, where education was at a very high, position in the scheme of things. It was all about learning. It was all about getting you involved in the class. And that's where I come from. For me, that's a big deal. If you don't give these elements to the student, you're gonna lose a very important uh, person in that moment. You're limiting a future, I don't know, broadcaster, a future lawyer, a future programmer. You're limiting. You cannot attach these limitations to the student. You have to
Yes.
give them wings.
Yes, that's true. What
Yeah,
what
so,
what's your
sounds
what's your
very dramatic, but it's true.
and what's your take on the topic you said? Mr. Hexen. Sorry about that.
Well, I think I've been passing for troubles with the English classes since the high school. Uh, I I've been with teachers that you can see that they don't they don't like English, even if in front of their students. So when one as a student thinks that teacher is there in front of the class just for qualifying, just for putting a number on
Yes.
your paper,
On your paper, yeah.
this is gonna be bad. They don't have the the conviction for you to learn. So they are more theoretical than practice. So
Yeah,
I
that's true.
think that's another mistake.
Yeah. Carla, what do you think? What do you think about theory and all that? Is it really important? Oh, Carla, are you around?
Yes, I
Okay,
lost connection for a moment.
no problem. We're talking a little about when you put your skills to the test, to you put your skills to the real thing, and on the other hand we got the theory. What do you think about the theory, you as a student? Because Carla, she's studying university and she keeps taking this English class at university. These classes are full of theory, I guess. Carla, what's your take on theory with respect to the
I
English
think that
language?
I think that theory is important, but if you don't practice, if you don't put on practice this theory, you don't going to win anything.
What are your
Anything.
classes like? Yes, you're not gonna gain anything. You're not gonna get
Mm,
anywhere. So what are your classes like these days at university?
Like my English class or
Yeah,
my
your
normal
classes at
classes.
yeah your normal classes at university.
Well, because of the pandemic situation, I have a lot of theory classes, but I don't see this on practice on the laboratories uh, or an experiment or on a project. Um, I use some programs that simulate some experiments, but I think that is not the same. It's not
It's
the
not
same
the,
to
yeah
to use the program uh, compared to stay in the lab and touch all that materials, touch the machine, use the machine. Uh, is not the same. It's not the same for nothing.
yeah. Obviously, it ain't, and it will never be the same. Luis, he's been well. He's spoken to a few people from different countries. He's put himself to the test, and he's realized that that's a different scenario. That's a different thing, especially this one situation that you went through over at San Carlos, Luis,
Yeah, yeah, a month ago.
and it was absolutely different from taking a class with books, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I was speaking with an old lady that she came from Utah. I think. I can't remember. I and I understood everything actually.
Yeah,
And I was trying to get her number because she was a retired old lady.
okay. Well, that's a different story. We can talk about that next on the next session.
She had a house in San Carlos.
Did you get her number?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay. Keep working on it.
But
So
I can remember when I first go to the US. I was in the secondary school, so I didn't understood anything. That everything was talking in the streets. So I just at that time I was taking English classes, but only with the books. So I think that the books are good to know the basic structures of the basic grammar. It's important to it's important to work with the reading and the writing part.
I
Is
mean,
important too, but
well, yeah.
I think it's like a requirement for the teachers in the skills that they must get the book and work with the book.
Yeah, grammar is important, but the thing that I disagree with is the way they teach it. The way they teach it, the
Or
approach,
the
the
emphasis
emphasis.
on just that part, right?
Yes, that approach, that obsolete approach that they keep using. That's the way I dislike. Obviously, grammar is important. They're important pillars. I call them pillars, but not the way they go by. That I don't do it like that. What's your take on that, Mr. Charlie?
Well, let me take you back in time where I was just a student. I was a foreign student. I was coming from Mexico to a new country. I was 11 years old. And the funny thing was, in regular in regular schools, English is one of the subjects, but it's one of the most important. I think the most important subject among others because it's not just 1 hour or 2 hours. It's 4, sometimes 5 hours a day. And I remember I didn't use books. I didn't use these exercises. We used to see the verbs, the structures in just a section of the class. And let me be honest on this. We had verbs every single day. And as a student, you think, "Oh my God, verbs! There's so many. Oh, this is gonna be boring." But we got an important message from the teacher back in the day, and she said, "This is gonna look boring to you." She prepared us for that moment. She said, "It's gonna look boring. It's gonna be a little bit tiring, but I promise you, these verbs are gonna stay with you forever." So when she said that, we thought she's crazy, you know, because that's
Especially with phrasal verbs.
Phrase.
especially with phrasal verbs. So as a student, you think like that and you go, let's see how this works. So every day we had a portion of that, but at the same time, we had the writing part. We had this a lot of speaking all around, and then we had this Q&A situation, Q&A. My classmates were from different parts of the world. So English was necessary for us to communicate. In my English class, there was only 2 Mexicans. I remember a guy from Merida and myself. The rest of the guys were Russians, uh, uh, Afghani guys, Irony guys, French, Jewish,
Akis.
Vietnamese, Pakis, from all over France, from all over the place. So it was a lot of hard work, but it was a lot of fun too. So
Yeah.
this is a combination that worked for me: hard work and fun, and a lot of motivation, a lot of guys. You got this. You can do this. repeat it, make mistakes, come on. And that's what I loved about my days in school. I really appreciated that. Then I had another class which was reading. I loved it. Composition was another great class that I loved, and U.S. Heritage, which is all the
Nice.
historical events in the states. And we had an
Nice.
opportunity to create our own stories from the books. To me, that changed my life. That changed my perspective. So when I come back to Mexico and I start my journey as a teacher, and I see these structures creating an allergic reaction in the student, I was feeling very, very sad and very frustrated. But I was there, and I had to do the plan, follow the script, blah blah blah. But one day I changed that. I changed that. I said, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna follow this this method because it's not working for the students. Students are very honest with you. You gotta be honest with them.
Come
Easy.
on. It's 2000 and it's nearly 2022. And who on earth would teach
Please, please.
who on earth would teach with books these days? I mean, with these new
Expensive.
yes,
It's not
yes,
enough.
but
Expensive.
It's not enough. I think you have to get it, the students into the English with the senses, visually watching videos, hearing, I don't know, music, hearing interviews, uh,
Engaging. Engaging.
many kind of
Engaging.
language
millennials
with the English.
millennials are a different kind of people from when we were back in the 90s or 80s. So
Absolutely. You gotta be very visual
yes, and so active
and
and
dynamic
yes, everything. You got
and
you got
keeping things busy. Yeah, keeping
yes,
things
keep it
active and
busy.
busy.
That's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
rolling it, rolling it.
You cannot walk into a classroom, with these 90s vibes, this 90s, you know, thing. You can't because you're gonna kill them. You're gonna
with an
kill them.
stereo and a CD.
Hey, where's my CD
The old
player? Where's my CD player? And look, CD players and CDs and all that. I went through all that, and I can tell you for a fact that it was just a
Hey,
waste of time.
hey, I use CDs to this day. Okay, I use CDs to this day.
Oh no! I'm talking about.
I'm an old school guy. Okay.
No, so am I. So am I. Yes, but
Sorry.
the only thing that I disagree with is that the teaching thing with books and the CD player. Just picture yourself walking into this classroom, and the minute that you walk into the classroom, you look at the teacher's desk and you see the CD player. You know that's gonna be. You know what's gonna be. You know what's gonna be like when you see the teacher with the CD player there. You say, come on again,
Hey,
really?
You're bringing memories to my head. I went through that, and it was like you either do some magic or you put the students to sleep.
Lesson 23. You're gonna listen to a couple speaking in a restaurant. Once it finishes, you're gonna have to fill in the blanks.
Repeat with
And
me.
yeah, oh my, such a pain
This
in
is
the ass. Yeah.
this is a situation that happened in the cafeteria. Listen to the exercise one more time.
Yeah, yes.
Wasn't that cool? Do it yourself. Please, come on.
Come on,
Come
please.
on, man.
We need
I
to.
can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, 2022. We
First
still
of
keep
all,
listening to the same thing.
Jackson or Mr. Lewis?
first of all, people uses not to speak that way. First of all, that textually is the word. People don't
Yeah,
used to speak textually. They are they are so, I don't know if they have a little time. They are hurried, but they speak so speedy, so fast. So
yeah, yeah.
if you have teachers that
Guys,
you
sorry.
can
Carla says she needs to go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Carla, It's all right, Carla. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank
Thank
you.
you. See
Cheers.
ya.
See you, Carla.
Cheers.
Thank
Have a good night.
you. Nice meeting you.
See-
Good night.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. It's just a different, it's just a massive difference. There's a massive difference between the way people speak in real life and the way they speak in CDs.
The real
Because-
world is
Yes, the
so
real
different.
world. Yes.
I can remember some audios in the test and in the TOEFL test. So when the guy was speaking like so it was impossible to to
That's
hear.
that's the real thing. That's the real thing.
Yeah,
There
for
is-
example, I remember my because this is related to this. Omar, one of my certifications, one of my first certifications was with British English.
Yeah.
They used to play these cassettes with British English for the candidates to run these tests, to go through the test. So a lot of colleagues, they fail this certification many times because they were not used to British English.
Yeah, I guess it's
So I was lucky because I got the hang of it. I could get the content, the ideas, and everything, but the accent was the tricky part for
But you can-
them to fail the exam.
did you pass it or did you fail it?
What do you think?
Well,
Look,
Oh.
I found myself in a situation where I had a colleague sitting next to me in this double desk, and she was trying to copy me. She was copying me. So the instructor, the person who was applying the test, she caught her in the act, and he even asked me, "Are you letting the lady copy you?" And I said, "Absolutely no, absolutely zero." And she was taken out of the classroom because she cheated.
okay, no, okay, well, wow, it's
A
lots of
classic.
things. Yes, it's a classic. Yes, it is a classic.
There you go.
Okay, so
And that teacher is still working.
still working there.
Oh my god.
Still traumatizing students to this
It's
day.
still traumatizing
Yeah,
students,
still
right?
traumatizing students.
Yeah.
Actually, Mr. Charlie was a great influence on me to do British English, because thanks to Mr. Charlie, I learned, or I found my way through British English. The guy is really, really good at doing the British accent. He can come on, he can teach us some. He can just give us a little try. You can do it.
I do not know what you're talking about.
There you go.
I cannot comprehend any of the content you just mentioned.
And Charlie could pass for a member from the royal family and not be caught. Yes.
From
So
a
how you
Liverpool
guys?
guy.
Yes, from the Liverpool. They say in the UK, Liverpool. We should focus the following session on the differences between American English and British English.
You need the pinky finger up when
I
speaking British.
got it up right now. Yes. So how you guys feeling? How you guys feeling tonight? All good, Arturo? Feeling all right?
Sure, yeah.
Good, right?
Yeah, all right. A little bit nervous because we are live.
It's just part of the game. It's just part. Mr. Charlie, you as a member of the royal family, is it part of the game or is it part of the game? Part of the game or part of the game?
Either is fine.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
In
Let's
it.
see. Let's see if Mr. Charlie can say this. I feel better. I want to drink water.
Oh, would you like a bottle of water?
Oh, you see, you can pull it off. Nice,
I've been
nice.
practicing.
Yeah, you've been watching these videos from this guy on TikTok.
Hey,
Who is
not
always
not just English, Chinese, Russian, French, and Portuguese. Every
And an
day. That's
Indian guy.
in an Indian guy. Oh my god! Oh my god! These guys. I mean, my respects to the
Very
Indian people, but
textual.
that's
sometimes, yeah, they sound like a little bit like
that's
funny.
nothing, my friend. That's nothing. You gotta have a look at Philippines. They rock. They rock.
Yeah, I mean
Philippines.
they're great. Great delivery. Great delivery.
Even though
They're at it.
Philippines got a different delivery, don't it, Mr. Luis?
Especially with his their hands.
Oh yeah, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. So how about having a fourth? This is the fourth transmission. The next week, are you guys down?
Sure.
Good. So before we wrap, let's talk a little about our plans for tonight. Our plans for tonight. Mr. Charlie. Our plans or our plans
Our plans
for tonight or for tonight.
for tonight.
For tonight. It's a little bit weird. I'm gonna have Charlie do the British accent in our following session, and he's gonna teach us more about the pinky finger and the royal family and all that. So before we wrap, let's start with Mr. Tudor. What's the plan for this evening, friend?
Man, oh, it's late. I think just having dinner and
Hit the
rest.
sax. Hit the sax straight away.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, get ready for tomorrow.
Good. How about our friend Luis?
Well, I shall get possessed by Jose's spirit.
I shall get possessed. You know what it means. Okay, but
Yep.
good. Okay. Once you get extremely possessed by the guy and you start crawling on your stomach because you're gonna lose the ability to walk. What else? What's coming next?
Well, I'm gonna prepare maybe gonna have a sandwich. And I have to prepare classes for tomorrow.
Nice, good. That's it.
That's
about
a sad story.
How about our friend Hexen?
What's up? I'm gonna dinner cereal with kind of fruit, watermelon, and
Oh, what healthy guy we got here. Yes,
yeah,
good.
in maybe in the weekends I will eat kind of dirty. I don't know, the flour tortillas or I don't know a hot dog. But from Monday to
Friday.
Saturday,
Okay, so
not Friday, just one day to make my stomach happy.
issues.
But from Monday to Saturday, I try to be healthy, and that's
Yeah, I mean,
it.
That's
A
good.
cup of water and so.
Nice, good. How about our British friend, Mr. Charlie?
Oh, I think Harry Potter is great.
Yeah, I think
It's
especially.
the bollocks. It's the bollocks. It's smashing.
Okay, Mr. Charlie, or Mr. Charlie,
Charles.
Mr. Charles,
Charles.
Mr. Charles Manson. What's the plan for tonight?
I got a pineapple ready for me, waiting at the kitchen.
That
So
healthy
I'm gonna
food?
go. So I'm gonna go there, slice it, and enjoy
Yeah, you're gonna vanish it all.
for
With
sure.
chili powder.
With no chili powder because I get problems with the stomach.
Yeah, especially
Just
if
the
you-
pineapple,
Awesome.
and that's it. That's it.
Great.
Yeah, That's good. That's good. Okay, we want to wrap the session here. I don't know, any questions, any comments, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Hegzen, Mr. Charlie Manson, Arturo?
Thank you, guys. I enjoy the conversation with you.
Thank you for joining us, Arturo. Thank you. Pleasure as usual, Mr. Hegzen. Keep up the practice, Mr. Lewis.
Thanks, teacher.
Make sure you don't get really, really possessed. And if you do, don't forget your name. Okay?
Enjoy it.
John Lewis. John
Gonna
Lewis.
change my name.
Well, just in case you come down to it.
Practice
shall be-
is awesome. Practice is important.
And keep
Keep
on
it up.
making
Keep it up.
keep on making mistakes. Keep on making mistakes. Okay?
Please,
I'm
please.
relative.
Okay, guys, thank you. We shall have
Part of the
following.
process.
Yeah, it is. I'll be seeing you next week at the very same time, 9 p.m.
Be safe.
Great.
Be
See you
safe.
next time.
Take care. Peace out, guys. Cheers.
Have a nice evening.
Cheers.
Have a good night, everyone.
Cheers. Bye. You too.